Sup YouTube, it's your boy Sly88Fry here. So, that was very pleasant, but this video is actually gonna be yabba dabba depressing. Hey, comment below if you know what that reference was. And no, I'm not talking about just, oh, the Flintstones. There was a reference, the reference is called Yabba Dabba Depressing. It's from a parody. But you can comment where you think it's from. Anyways, Karl Jobst has a new video that I think is important for me to react to. Not only because I've noticed that when I react to Karl Jobst videos that mention Billy Mitchell, they perform better than average for me, but it's also because, but it's mainly because this is important. I think what is suggested in this title that is happening to him is not fair. So I'm going to listen to what he has to say. But listen with me, please.
Hello, you absolute legends. The madman finally did it. On the 13th of September 2021, the speedrunner Karl Jobst achieved this lawsuit. Until now, Billy Mitchell had only made threats about suing me, but he finally pulled the trigger and has made it official by filing a complaint in the District Court of Queensland, which is the state in which I live. It's been a pretty crazy week because on the exact same day that I was served by Billy Mitchell, I was cancelled. Yes, that's right, cancelled. It's game over. A small group of people have been trying to cancel me for a while now, and their campaign has finally cracked the big time. Normally I wouldn't pollute this channel by responding to this kind of drama because it's almost entirely made up of lies and false narratives, but they have started to make insane claims about my family, even making fun of my 1-year-old son. So I thought I should...
That is fucked up. See, this is what's really fucked up about today's outrage. Well, not even outrage culture, just people in general. Outrage culture doesn't even have anything to do with that. Just people today in general are just so fucking sadistic. It's his 1-year-old son. Leave him alone, you fucktard.
But talk about it, as it's also an interesting case study on how people buy into and accept things as fact without a second's thought. Even though the majority of this cancellation is based on lies and mischaracterizations, there are also some valid criticisms as well. So today we will look at both sides, the crazy, insane lies, and also the genuine concerns that I actually agree with. But first, let's take a look at this lawsuit.
Okay.
Normally, I'd give you a full breakdown of this kind of thing, but because this one involves me, I'm going to keep my cards a lot closer to my chest. What I will tell you is that I am being sued for defamation, and the amount of damages being sought is $450,000. I will definitely be giving you updates as we go, but I don't want to give out too many details or strategies before I use them in court. Defamation lawsuits are a bit different in Australia because we don't have punitive damages like the US. In America, you see lawsuits where people are demanding millions of dollars in punitive damages, and punitive damages are designed to punish the defendant for wrongdoings and dissuade others from taking similar actions. Australia really only has compensatory damages, which are designed to mitigate any damage caused, whether that be emotional or economic. So if Billy Mitchell wants $450,000 in damages, he'd need to directly show that something I've said has caused him to lose that much money. That's going to be a bit of a struggle, given that Billy Mitchell doesn't really have much of a reputation to destroy by this point. Not only does the public widely accept that he is a serial liar.
Yes! Okay, that is great news. Because, my goodness, you are a lying sack of shit, Billy Mitchell. But, yeah, and but you know what? See, if all he did was lie about cheating, and then, you know, just kind of fessed up to it when he was caught, that'd be fine. But he keeps pushing the lie, keeps pushing it so hard that somehow people who are completely ill-informed and don't pay attention to the facts and only care about the legendary documentary, the legendary story of it all, don't actually listen to the facts. Billy Mitchell did cheat, and this isn't just from Karl Jobst saying it. I actually remember first hearing about this years ago. I didn't even know who Karl Jobst was back when I first heard about this back in, like, it was either 2017 or 2018, I forget which year it was, maybe even before that, when it was proven that Billy Mitchell cheated to achieve the greatest score ever on the Donkey Kong arcade. So, and that video I think might have even come out years before. I don't remember, but so it's not even so it's not just like specifically Karl Jobst pointing him out. Many people, lots of people who have looked up the facts, who have looked up how it was done, what kind of hardware he used, which wasn't the official arcade hardware, which makes it illegitimate, have proven that Billy Mitchell cheated. So, but the fact is, Billy Mitchell, all he wants to do is continuously sue the people who keep claiming, who keep pointing out the fact that he cheated. Like, dude, Billy, stop. You're just making yourself look worse. And not to mention, the lawsuits have come back to bite you in the ass. What about Jace, the new owner of Twin Galaxies? He fought back. Oh, when you went to court and talked to that judge, all you did was waste his time, and he just told you you waited too long to even do anything about it. Like, come on, dude. Like, honestly, I think Billy Mitchell, like Karl Jobst has said in a previous video a couple months ago, I think he might actually be legitimately enjoying the thrill of hurting people. Like, I think he's actually sadistic. He enjoys that he's hurting people by suing them. Otherwise, he wouldn't even do it. Otherwise, he'd just be like, you know what, fine, I cheated. Sorry.
Cheater, but he's also being sued for millions of dollars for fraud.
Yeah!
Billy Mitchell already sued Twin Galaxies and many other people for destroying his reputation, citing massive economical loss. There are only so many times you can claim that a party has destroyed your reputation before it no longer holds any merit.
Exactly.
Aside from this, I have multiple defenses. I never make claims without ample evidence to support them or some kind of justification. When I do get something wrong, I would always be happy to admit it. In fact, I even made a clarification to something I said in a video that Billy Mitchell said was wrong, which I will link in the description. I am a big fan of discourse, and am generally always willing to listen and consider the other side of the story. It doesn't mean I'll accept it or agree, but I have a very open mind and will listen as long as the discussion is respectful and sincere.
That's how people should be, but too many people just want to go on and be like, no, fuck you, you're wrong, fuck you, I can't listen to you, I'm a douche, I must always just hide in my corner and always pick what I believe in, even if, no matter how many people disagree.
As everyone knows, lawsuits are extremely expensive. If this goes the entire distance, the final price tag could be well over $100,000, especially given that I have a really good team of lawyers. A lot of people have offered support, and I'm definitely contemplating doing a GoFundMe, but I feel really bad doing so, given that I did one just a few months ago for the other people Billy is suing. As I've mentioned before, Minecraft creator Notch has pledged to help and has been doing so. But again, I feel bad taking money from anyone, no matter how wealthy they might be. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do, and I will definitely be providing updates as the lawsuit progresses.
I'll just say what I think you should do right now. And what I think you should do is, I think you should do the GoFundMe. In my personal opinion, if you're watching Karl Jobst, he's probably not watching, let's be honest. But that's what I believe. Because when it comes to that much money, you gotta, I think the philosophy is to get whatever help you can possibly get. I'm someone who also feels bad asking for money. I do. Like, I'd rather earn it through my job with DoorDash or through what very little I make through monetization on YouTube. But like, if I ask for money, I feel like to borrow money from like family or friends or whatever, I feel bad about it. I don't like doing that. I usually don't have to do it very often, like at all. Rarely do I ever actually have to ask for financial help, but whenever I do, I feel bad about it, but I always pay them back, so there's that.
A big thank you for all of the support. It is truly appreciated. I just hope this legal attack doesn't take up too much of my time so I can continue to produce videos.
Yeah, that's
now
also a good
onto
point.
this cancellation. A few people in the speedrunning community have been trying to cancel me ever since I started making content on YouTube, for reasons we will get into in a moment. Until now, it has never really impacted me, and I chose to ignore it, because I felt like it was spurred on by bad faith actors and trolls who simply didn't like me and were trying to find ways to make me look bad. But recently, I did get impacted. I had just started a podcast with another speedrunning content creator, Tomato Anus, and we had recorded a few episodes. Then, last week, he got sent screenshots from someone hoping to make him disassociate with me, which he did, announcing his decision on Twitter. This tweet then gets posted on Reddit, which is where things get crazy. People flock to the topic, posting insane, made-up false claims that just blew my mind. Interspersed is some valid criticism, but from what I can tell...
This is what I hate about today's outrage cancel culture. People will say things that simply just aren't true about somebody, but because it's a negative thing, people will just jump on board and the hate train and try to get them canceled. It can happen. Sadly, it can happen to anybody. I mean, unless they have a vast fortune. It seems like if somebody has a vast fortune, they could survive it. But some people who actually are pretty well off haven't. I mean, Roseanne, I don't know how well off financially she was, but I mean, she had to have been with how successful her show was in the late 80s and throughout the 90s and all the DVD sales before she got canceled for saying something racist on Twitter. So it can affect people who are more successful, but they have to say something really, really, really messed up. But when it's like more of an average person, there's nothing they can do about it, you know? Lacey Green pointed this out, and she's quite liberal. Like, a lot of liberals seem to not think that, and I'm on the liberal side too. I'm a progressive, not establishment Democrat. I think Biden sucks. Trump sucks too. I wish it was Bernie Sanders who was president. But like, moving on from there, Lacey Green is pretty progressive, and she pointed out that, yeah, cancel culture does exist. Here's a liberal perspective of it. It does exist. A lot of people who are who are liberal actually are in denial of cancel culture for some odd reason. Maybe because in some ways maybe because it has done no harm to them specifically. Cancel culture hasn't done anything to me. I mean, for all we know, maybe if my channel was popular, maybe something I uploaded like 10 years ago could affect me, but I highly doubt it. I do try to avoid controversy. But yeah, people are just really unforgiving nowadays. I think there is a good thing with how people get outraged nowadays. Like, people who are racist get canceled, and that's great. You know, they deserve it. They need to get with the times and stop being prejudiced against people just because of the color of their skin. Like, what's with that? It's stupid. But the thing is, people can make a joke, even if it's not really an offensive joke, but still kind of a joke in bad taste, and they can get canceled for it. You know, it's not fair. It really isn't. Family Guy had a great example of it with Brian, where he said something that, like, to be honest, I think it's a bit exaggerated, because I think if a lot of people who would say this, they probably wouldn't actually be hit as harshly as Brian was. Then again, especially with such a small follower count. But it goes to show that, yeah, you could not be racist. You could not be a bastard. You could not be these things. But but if you make a joke about it, all of a sudden, that makes you that. Like, that's so messed up. Honestly, I know Dave Chappelle is around and amazing now, but I feel like he would probably hate how people react to stuff like that, because he made a lot of racial jokes, and they were funny. People loved them back then. To be honest, I think they'd still react to it positively today. However, what if he was white and he was making these kind of jokes? And look, I get that as a white person, things are easier than it would be if I was Hispanic or black. My wife is Hispanic, And she's dealt with race. Even though we live in Northern California, which is a progressive area, I mean, we're only an hour north of San Francisco, which is very, leftist. And it's pretty leftist here, too. But she's still dealt with racism all her life. It doesn't really matter where you are in the U.S. There is racism if you're not white. And there's racism against whites, but whenever somebody is being racist against white people, nobody seems to care at all. But as soon as a white person says something that is kind of messed up or makes a joke about something, even if they're not racist, boom, they're done. Now, don't comment about the Roseanne thing. I actually have not read the comment. I'm just going to assume that what she did was wrong and she should never have said that. Anyways, I've been pausing long enough. Let's continue.
It appears to be mostly an intentional smear campaign by a group of people hoping to cancel me. And the crazy thing is that people who are reading the comments just accept everything as fact without asking any questions.
Yeah, it's
so
fucked
how
up.
and why did this happen? It goes back to November of 2018, when another GoldenEye speedrunner, R. White Goose, got banned from AGDQ after a massive collection of screenshots was made public, showing him saying terrible things in his Discord between 2017 and early 2018.
Oh, shit,
and these
what the
weren't
hell?
just terrible things, they were
Just saw the N-word. He just put one letter and one G instead of two.
really, really terrible.
What a
Goose
bastard.
was ostracized from the community and labeled a Nazi. This all relates to me because I associated with Goose online, and in the screenshot dump, I was in one of the screenshots. In the album of
That's all
150
took?
pictures, I appeared in one. What I said wasn't good,
That's
and I
all
will talk
took?
about it later in the video, but the thought process
See, that's how fucked up today's society is. He appeared in a screenshot. Jeez. Fucking crazy people.
for some people was that because Goose said bad things in his Discord, that made his Discord a Nazi Discord. And because I appeared in one of the screenshots, that meant that I was in a Nazi Discord. Essentially, it is guilt by association.
Yep,
I
that's
interacted
what
with
people
someone
do.
who said terrible things, and I was in his Discord, so by extension, I am terrible. The truth, however, is that I was very rarely even in his Discord, certainly not while everything was going on.
Yeah. You're only in one of the screenshots.
The screenshot I was in was captured in May of 2018, which was later than all of the other screenshots. For the very brief time that I was in there, I realized it was a degenerate place and I left. I didn't know about the true extent of what was said in there, but based on what I did see, I knew it wasn't a positive environment and I left. Even if I were in there the entire time, which is not true, it's extremely disingenuous to claim that people know what is said in every Discord server they are
Exactly.
in. I'm in 50 servers, and I only really read one, which is my own. I have no idea what is said in other servers, nor should I be expected to. There were thousands of
Exactly,
people
yeah.
in that server because Goose was one of the biggest speedrunning content creators at the time, and most people had no idea what was going on. I did eventually find out everything shortly before things became public, but by this point in time, Goose was coming to me and asking for advice about how to apologize, disavow what he had previously said, and make a positive change. I agreed to help him, and he seemed sincere. I have chat logs from before everything became public and before he was banned of me advising him to apologize, close his Discord, disavow what he had said, and I was also helping him to make amends with people he had wronged in the past. We had even organized a live stream on the 30th of November where he was going to publicly apologize and disavow everything. But 2 days before that happened, everything blew up. Even though the truth is that I wasn't in the Discord, I didn't know what was being said, and when I found out, I was actively telling Goose to disavow everything and apologize. The narrative that they are trying to spin is the complete opposite. They are claiming
That's
that not
fucked
only
up.
was I in the Discord, but I also knew and even endorsed what was said. I know there is a percentage of the population that thinks you should completely cut off people who have bad views, but I don't agree with that. For most of my life, I've wanted to be a psychologist. I studied psychology in university. I wouldn't be a very good psychologist if I refused to speak with or help people with unhealthy ideas. Goose himself
point,
even stated
good point.
afterwards that my role was always to try to help him move forward in a more positive way.
Who in the community has influenced you the most? This is all from a guy named Xfinity. Who in the community has
huh?
influenced the most? Honestly, it really has to be Karl. Karl has always been there for me when I fucked up, and he's always been willing to teach me things and lead me on a better way. And that's not just like, I know people have asked about me and his stream over the past couple of months, and he said, yeah, I talk with Goose every day, and like, we're gonna get on the right track and move forward in a good manner. But even in the past, when I've fucked up, he's been there for me and tried to steer me down the straight and narrow, right? So.
Now, just for full transparency, I'm not friends with Goose. I haven't associated or even spoken with him in well over 2 years, but I didn't make a big spectacle out of it or virtue signal on Twitter, and I had absolutely no interest in talking about it until I was forced. Yet people to this day continue to spread false information about our relationship. Let's take a look at a few more lies that are being spread. People were saying that I pressured my wife into getting breast implants.
What?
When I read this, I was blown away because my wife doesn't have breast implants, nor would I ever suggest or want this. I wouldn't change a single thing about my wife. I had absolutely no idea where this was coming from. Then I see this screenshot being shared around as proof. Now, I must warn you that my sense of humor is crude and immature when I'm around friends, despite what I may put across on this channel. If you don't like crude humor, I apologize, and I wish I didn't have to share this, but unfortunately I don't have a choice given the disgusting and vile nature of these accusations. In my Discord, I mentioned that I was at the hospital because my wife had to get surgery, and someone said, "Here I was thinking you were finally getting the titty implants." Someone else said, 12-inch cock and double D tits would make Karl unstoppable. And I replied, if YouTube keeps getting bigger, the titty implants are gonna happen. Even without the context, it's obvious they're talking about me getting breast implants. And it's incredibly disingenuous to take it any other way. I had a running...
It was a joke, you idiots! It was a joke! My God! It's like they said in that same episode of Family Guy I just mentioned. We're in a post-joke world now.
Gag on my Twitch channel that the only way my stream was ever going to grow was by getting breast implants. I even set up a mock donation incentive. It never had anything to do with my wife. This theme of taking jokes that me and my viewers make around each other and warping them to mean something else is standard practice for these people.
It is,
Another running gag on my Twitch channel is penis jokes. Almost all of the emotes on my Twitch channel are eggplant related. The humor lies in the fact that it's so ridiculous and so stupid. It's parody. It's self-aware in its absurdity. Some of them are pretty creative though. This one is called Arnold Schwarzenegger plant, and it's objectively the best emote on Twitch. I even have this chat command, and what I'm about to say will shock the people that take things like this seriously. My penis isn't really 12 inches long, and Twin Galaxies didn't really verify to 1982. This is actually a penis joke and a Todd Rogers joke in one. How they spin these types of jokes is insane. In one screenshot, I show some Chinese medicine that my wife got me because she thought it would help us conceive. After my friend mentions Chinese and Australian, I reply with half Chinese, half massive cock. So they spin this to be racist apparently, and claim that I'm saying this about my son, which makes no sense. We hadn't even conceived. There was no son, there wasn't even a sex yet. I could have been having a daughter. This has nothing to do with a boy or a girl or a penis. The joke is that my race isn't Australian, my race is massive cock. Again, it's absurdism. It's a long-running joke between friends. And joke, notice the same person that I said it to repeats a similar joke back to me later on. The speedrunning Reddit also attacked my son's name, who I mentioned would be taking his mother's surname because I don't associate with my father. They attribute the surname Wong with penises, and the oblivious racism on their part is astounding. I named my son Maximus because it means the greatest, and he is the greatest. And those people going after him because of his name are just indescribably terrible. As a side note, in Chinese culture they actually say the family name first, and his Chinese name is Wong Chun-hee. The lies continue. One person claims I was racist against the Super Mario Bros. Speedrunner, Lakuki, in a leaked Discord voice chat. This is entirely fabricated. Anyone in my Discord knows I never use voice chat. There has never been a leak, nor have I ever been racist or even insulted Lakuki. I really like Lakuki, and given that we are friends, he himself messaged me saying this was bullshit. A couple of bright sparks did ask for evidence, but of course, none is provided, because it's a complete lie. Another liar claims I asked for nudes in my stream. And again, I am left having no idea what is going on or where this is coming from. I would never ask for nudes, and if anything like this ever happened or was posted, I would never ever approve of that or let it stand. These obsessed haters love to intentionally take screenshots out of context and give them new meanings. In this screenshot, I mentioned that I'm married and have been with more women than some undisclosed party. Apparently, this is me bragging about sleeping with many women and having the regressive mindset that having sex equals quality as a person. But I wonder what the context is here, and I think the context might be enlightening. If you go and read the actual conversation, I was responding to this. In another GoldenEye speedrunner stream, he and his viewers were trying to make fun of my appearance, saying that I looked like an albino with cancer, and that I don't go outside. Well, the reality is that I am very white because I do have cancer. My body is covered in massive scars from countless surgeries to remove cancer, and I've had to deal with it my entire life. Due to my condition, I do try to avoid the sun, as recommended by my doctors. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything, I'm just giving you the context around my response. I would never randomly brag about something like that, nor do I think it's even something anyone should ever focus on. And those who really know me well would tell you that I value character more than anything else, not these superficial things. In this particular instance, however, I was taking a stab at less than reputable people for attacking me over something so juvenile and close to home. My point was that despite the fact that I look like an albino and I do have cancer, I've still done well for myself and I'm living a great life. Because those things really don't matter. There are even more batshit insane claims, but I'll stop there. You get the point. Of course, everyone believes everything instantly, and the people making the claims know it. No one asks for context, no one cares about the context, they simply enjoy the feeling of going after the villain of the day.
Yeah, they do. People are
With all of this being said, there are definitely things I've said and done in the past that deserve criticism and I need to apologize for. Earlier I mentioned that I was in one of the screenshots from the R White Goose League, and this is what I said. This is from May 2018, and we were discussing the incident where Kendrick Lamar asked a white fan to come on stage to sing one of his songs which contained the N-word. The fan didn't censor the word, was booed by the crowd, and eventually removed from the stage.
He was asked
At the time, more than anything, I wanted to defend the fan because I didn't believe they had any ill intent, and I felt sorry for them that they were put into that situation and handled it incorrectly.
You know what? I don't know anything about that performer, but he's a bully. That is exactly what a bully would do. He brought the guy on stage to embarrass him. That is literally what he did. And if people are going to boo him for doing what he was told, look, yes, it's racist. You can't say that unless you're black. But he told him to say it, which means that he deliberately made him go up there to say it just to embarrass him, just to get people to boo at him. That guy's a bully.
I attempted to defend this position, very poorly, by stating that it should be okay for anyone of any race to sing the lyrics in hip-hop music as they were written. Despite the fact that I did double down on this position a few times when challenged on it, I have ultimately come to realize more and more that my opinion on the issue, and especially the way I expressed it, was extremely insensitive. One of the reasons I was so defensive was because I felt as though my position was always mischaracterized, with people claiming that I was complaining that I couldn't personally use the word. But the truth is that I would never use the word, nor have I ever wanted to. And if I were in that same position as the fan I was defending, I wouldn't have chosen to use it. It was hard to accept the valid criticism when it also came with what I considered to be bad faith efforts to attack my character. But if we were to have a genuine conversation about the issue, we would probably end up...
Oh, just to make things clear, I am trying to trick people who want to jump the hate train. Nigahiga. That's a YouTube channel.
Up agreeing. In any case, it is definitely not my place to be deciding what people... nor have I ever wanted to, and if I were in that same position as the fan I was defending, I wouldn't have chosen to use it. It was hard to accept the valid criticism when it also came with what I considered to be bad faith efforts to attack my character. But if we were to have a genuine conversation about the issue, we would probably end up agreeing. In any case, it is definitely not my place to be deciding what people of color should or shouldn't find acceptable, and I sincerely apologize for what I said. Another instance where I reacted poorly was when I was called out for the use of the word Jap. For the past 15 years, myself and many other speedrunners have used the word Jap as shorthand for Japanese when referring to the region of the console we use to speedrun. There are 3 regions we primarily use: European or PAL, North American or NTSC, and Japanese, which we shorten to either JAP, JP, JP.
Doesn't Japan also do NTSC? I could have sworn NTSC was North and South America and Asia. And then PAL is Europe, and for some reason Australia, which doesn't make much sense, but anyway.
Or NTSC-J. In early 2019, I wanted to create an emote based on the Japanese version of the game, because many people often ask why the Japanese version is used. So I wanted an emote that people could spam whenever that question came up. Obviously, it was going to be eggplant related, because that's the running gag on my channel. I created a censored eggplant and called the emote Jap, what we call the Japanese region of the console we were speedrunning. I didn't think anything of it, but out of nowhere, another person from the community blasted me on Twitter, tagging Twitch and accusing me of using a racial slur and making fun of the Japanese. This shocked me because it didn't even cross my mind that it could be seen as offensive or even as a slur. I became incredibly angry for two reasons. The first is that this person was trying to cancel me for an innocent mistake, and this issue of that word had never been brought up before, despite them being in the community and seeing it used for years. The second was because this person had been actively hating on me and my viewers in Discord and their Twitch stream for a while before this. Therefore, I didn't take this as a good faith effort to remove content that could be offensive, but rather as an attack and an opportunity to take me down. I lashed out on Twitter. This was before I had any platform or a noteworthy following. In fact, at this time, the person trying to cancel me had more followers. At this stage, I had not learned how to respond to public criticism in a mature way, and my response was horrible.
That reminds me. I'm still under some consideration to make a joke video about the top 10 reasons why my YouTube has been around for so long and only has 1,600 subscribers. The number one reason would be actually because all the time I took off. So yeah, the number one reason would be kind of my fault, but most of it would be my fault. But a reason I was going to list on there actually was being rude to commenters. Right nowadays, I'm 33 now, so I'm above all the BS and the trolling and stuff. I either just don't even respond to them, delete the comment, block them, report as spam. Although, fortunately, because of how YouTube's spam censors are more sensitive, although it's also bad at the same time, because some comments that are definitely not spam get automatically hidden as spam. But there are some comments that are just really messed up that YouTube will automatically hide. And I'm not aware of them unless I actually look through my comments in more detail, like tell it to show spam comment, show other comments, not just, the regular ones. So actually nowadays it's even easier to avoid dealing with trolls and douchebags. But a decade ago, which ironically, even though my channel now has 1,645 subscribers or 1,646 or whatever, not very good, I know, for how long I've been around. A decade ago, I think my channel was at around it had reached over 800 subscribers a decade ago. So far fewer subscribers, but my videos, at least at the time, I think were getting more views and more commenters anyway. I guess because the YouTube market got more oversaturated later on than that. But there were people who would comment just really hateful things, or just really, and comment with the literal intent to insult me. And I'd oftentimes respond by, first of all, contradicting them, and then insulting them back and saying pretty nasty things to them, saying that they need to get a life and grow up, because obviously they don't seem to have anything better to do. Then I would actually continue the argument by saying, congratulations, you're increasing my views by continuing to give me comments. And I'd just be making fun of them for that and continuously doing it over and over, because I thought that would benefit my channel to keep the conversation going, because they would be adding views every time they comment on my video. But then But then, there actually were some people who said that I need to be nicer to my commenters. Then I would contradict those people, saying it's hard to be nice to somebody who says something so stupid and seems like they're there to try to piss me off. I am backing my ground and gonna kick his ass in the comments, basically. So, yeah, I used to be a lot more aggressive in my responses to comments. Nowadays, I don't get as many comments as I used to, even though I have more subscribers now. And I have enough watch time to be monetized now. But there are people who will send me negative comments, and either I just ignore them now, or if I do respond, I respond in a way that doesn't really cause an argument. Like, I'll disagree with them, but then, like, say it's okay if you think this is better than that or whatever, you know, I'll let them have their opinion, basically. But when somebody says something just to deliberately insult me, yeah, I'll just either ignore them or just explain to them the situation isn't as simple as they say it is. Like, for example, my React videos, like the one I'm doing now, which is taking a lot longer than it should, but just so much to say here. Some people have complained that, oh, you're recording in a car or you're recording outdoors. Record at home. Like, one person said that, and I just told him, like, hey, you know, I would rather do that. I really would. I would rather record these at home. But the problem is, where I currently live, it's just not feasible. Yeah, there was that React video a couple days ago to Scott DeWaz that I did record at home in my bedroom, but that was because I took my wife over to her sister's place, and I happened to be home cleaning up, and Scott DeWaz just uploaded that video, so I had to do the React then. But typically, because of an issue I'm not going to get into, I'm just going to say my wife needs surgery. That's all I'm going to say. She's stuck at home. She did have a job, but then, you know, the pain was too much for her, so she couldn't work the job anymore. I hope she can find a work from home so she doesn't have to worry about that, but it seems a lot of work from home jobs require a higher education, or in fact require you to spend a bunch of money to learn how to do the job, and then you can make money after that. Like a low-hanging system. But anyway, so that's why I don't really do these at home. Now, yeah, I could go to the kitchen, I guess, but no, I can't. I really can't. If I try to record myself doing a React video in the kitchen, it's just not going to work. The owners of the house, they have a dog that never stops barking. If you make a single peep in the kitchen, that dog will bark, and it will not shut up. They keep yelling at the dog, and it's like, well, you know, if you actually would have trained your dog to not bark at literally everything, this wouldn't be a problem, but they don't care enough to train the dog. They don't even play with their dog. Every time I see the dog in the same room as them, they're never petting it, they're never playing with it, they're never doing anything with it. They just leave it to its own chew toy. So it's pretty clear they got the dog just to have a dog, not because they actually want to actually raise the dog and make it not be such a stupid barking piece of crap. And not to mention, even without the dog there, I still have to worry about them coming home when I'm recording at home, so it just wouldn't really work. On Tuesday, my wife and I are looking at a place that we hope we'll be able to move into. We hope we have the qualifications. It's one of those more affordable places in the area, $1,254 a month, which I know is not the low, but it's affordable for where I'm from. The average rent here is around $2,000 a month. Hopefully we'll get this place because we'll have the freedom to, you know, have our own home cooked meals. I'll be able to record my reacts at home, do more live streams at home. And plus I have a planned series I want to do, a planned original series I want to do, which I would only feel comfortable recording at home and set up a green screen for it. I'm not going to tell you what it is though, but it is inspired by an already existing series, yes, but it will be kind of original in its own way, which I think could help my channel. Anyways, talked long enough. Yes, I didn't have the maturity back then in my early 20s to understand that I shouldn't be responding to people that way. It doesn't work. You think you're going to talk them down, but that's what they live off of. They have no life, so they want you to react, and they want you to feed their pathetic little ego and continue to insult you over and over. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. It unfortunately, just responding to them doesn't work because that's what they want. So either ignore them or give them a more reasonable response without getting mad. And if they persist on being assholes, then just ignore them or block them. You have no idea how many people I've blocked on YouTube. There's a lot of them. It's a pretty big list of people. Anyways, let's continue.
Once I calmed down, I deleted the tweet and changed the name of the emote to NTSCJ, which is what it remains today. It was never intended to be a slur, and I reacted so negatively because of the previous interactions I'd had with that particular person, and also because this could have easily been resolved in private if they had have explained to me directly how insensitive it was. Aside from this one incident, I haven't really heard anyone complain about the use of the word, despite it still being extremely common in speedrunning to describe that region. And I've even still used it myself in more private settings when describing which version of the game I'm playing. Moving forward, I will definitely retire it though in favor of something more respectful. Being able to respond to concerns...
What I don't understand is calling a Japanese person why would calling them a Jap be offensive? You're just shortening the word to Jap. Like, it's stupid. That shouldn't be offensive. I mean, seriously, it's just shorter to say than Japanese. What should you say, Japa? Like, it's stupid. You're just shortening the word from Japanese to Jap. That shouldn't even be offensive, and people have used that all the time, and it was like never considered offensive. Honestly, I actually didn't even really know it was offensive. The only time I ever thought it was offensive would be if it was used in a negative way, like in Kill Bill Volume 2 when that Confucius, sensei guy, that Chinese guy, he's like, he said in Cantonese, I despise the goddamn Japs. Like, because he said I despise the goddamn Japs, saying it that way is offensive. But if you're just saying Jap, that shouldn't be offensive. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. The N-word is offensive for a good reason, because it's a racial slur that racist white people use to describe black people. That is wrong. That is messed up. There's a certain word spelled Chink, at least I think that's how it's spelled, that is a racial slur against Chinese people. That is not okay. That word is not okay. But a word like Jap, J-A-P, it's really just a shortened version of Japanese. That doesn't, for that to be, There was one word I heard that, looking back at it, I think was pretty offensive. That was used to describe Japanese people. I don't know how many people actually ever used this word. Maybe it was only this one person I knew who used it. I don't know. G-O-O-K. Gook. That, if you call a Japanese person that, I could see that being offensive. That sounds really mean, honestly. Then again, but to be honest, it doesn't really seem like the word Jap is offensive. I mean, if it is, well, damn, that's terrible, but it just seems more like a shortened version, just a shorter way to say Japanese. I mean, seriously. Like, it's like those people who find it who tell you, don't call them black people. Like, why not? They call us white people. In fact, even though I'm a grown man, my ex, who was black and Mexican, she was heavy set, and she didn't like how people looked at us sometimes because it was, I don't know if it was because we were an interracial couple or not, because interracial couples are kind of common in the area, sort of, not that common. They're more common down south in like San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose, but they're kind of common here, I mean, my wife is Mexican or Hispanic. But yeah, my ex was black and Mexican, both. But she was a big, heavyset kind of woman. And I guess people looked at us thinking it was weird. And she's like, she expressed to me like she doesn't like how people are looking at us, saying, acting like it's so weird to see a big black girl with a small white boy. I'm a grown man. She said white boy. Of course, she called herself a black girl, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But I've been called a white boy by people of different races, and I'm not offended. So what's wrong with me calling somebody black? Black, you know? If I have to call somebody who's black and African American, then guess what? Return the favor. Call me a Caucasian. Stupid. Oh, well, no, it's only racist when it comes from a white person to a different race. That's the other thing. If somebody is being racist and they're not white, nobody cares. Nobody cares if somebody who isn't white is being racist. It's only seen as racist when a white person does it. But, damn, this gave me so much to say. Like I said, this video was kind of depressing, just telling by the title and stuff. I hope Karl Jobst will be out of this okay.
From the public in a positive way is something that I have been struggling to learn over the past few years as my platform has grown. And I do think I've made a lot of it myself in more private settings when describing which version of the game I'm playing. Moving forward, I will definitely retire it though in favor of something more respectful.
Yeah.
Being able to respond to concerns from the public in a positive way is something that I have been struggling to learn over the past few years as my platform has grown. And I do think I've made a lot of progress. Even though in the past I may have gotten angry and been way too aggressive and defensive, looking back I still deeply appreciate the feedback, and of course it does help. Finally, there is a funny video of me going around from 2014 demonstrating an exercise to overcome social anxiety. The exercise consists of walking up to someone, giving them a compliment, and then walking off. Apparently, this is me trying to be a pickup artist, but if you know anything about pickup, you'd know this isn't pickup at all.
It's not pickup
Conversely,
at all.
it's my
It's just a
opinion that
compliment.
almost every single piece of advice given by so-called pickup gurus is unhealthy, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't endorse it. I've always preached building character, developing self-confidence and self-esteem, and using honesty, integrity, and respect to build relationships. It
Yeah.
is a funny video though, and a lot of you will probably cringe, so I will link it in the description for your viewing pleasure.
Sure.
In order to research videos, I do work with other speedrunners often, so it's a huge shame that many of them will buy into the lies that are currently being spread, and will refuse to be involved with the channel. Everyone loses here, as the videos become less accurate, less informative, and more prone to mistakes. I certainly won't stop talking about speedrunning though. I've done it and loved it for over 20 years. A smear campaign spearheaded by trolls would certainly never stop me from making videos. To those who have been lying about me and my family and trying to use them as weapons against me, and to those who believe those lies and spread them without asking questions or considering the context, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, please go fuck yourselves. To everyone
Yes.
else, I appreciate you. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Yes. That's the problem. People just don't want to do any research. It's fucked up. It's bullshit. I'm actually going to mention something I remember from about a month ago. I learned of it from watching a video from Popcorn to Planet. He mentioned Matt Damon. And here's the thing. Matt Damon, what the hell was the word? Oh, it was the Q word to describe homosexuals. He had used it casually in conversation. And plus he played characters that said that word, which actually that shouldn't be held against him because he's acting, he's playing a character. But anyways, he had used it in his common speech too, and his own daughter had taught him that it's wrong, it's a slur against homosexuals, and to stop saying it. Matt Damon openly admitted to learning from that experience and that he would never say it again. But then he received a whole shit ton of hate just because he said it in the first place. Which, like Popcorn Planet said, that literally means that people who had said horrible things were arrogant and would like to learn from their mistakes now don't want to, because if they actually admit that they did these things in the first place and then promise not to do them again, you're going to hate them. Can't you just learn to be like, okay, you messed up, I don't like that you messed up. I'm holding you accountable for messing up. But I hope you follow through with doing better. Don't just cancel them because they learned from their mistakes. You kidding me? And somebody commented saying, "Oh, it's because he said queer in the first place." Like, yeah. Now he's admitted that it was wrong. He has stopped. He learned not from it. He knows not to do it. And then he's like, "Oh, it's too late now." It's like, so that's the verdict. You're guilty no matter what. You can never recover. You're never allowed to actually be happy because you did something in the past that was ignorant. Even if you learned from it, even if you understood you shouldn't, even if you understand now that it's wrong, you're not allowed the opportunity to recover from that and be happy. Fuck you for that. Seriously. But yeah, I really hope that Karl Jobst will be fine. You know what, to be honest, I feel like his YouTube channel will be fine. He's got a lot of supportive fans who understand that he's not what these haters who are trying to cancel him are describing. I do worry that he might lose subscribers, might lose views because of it, from those sheeple who will just always just follow the hate train. But he'll still have a lot of support. He's definitely going to have my support. That's for sure. My goodness, I was not supposed to go this long. I'm supposed to go to work. But thank you for watching till the end. I appreciate it. This has been a blast. Well, actually, no. This was actually a very depressing video to watch, but it was very informative. I'm glad I saw it. And I'm glad you watched this with me and put up with all the commentary I added. I think I might have said a bit too much. It shouldn't have been this long. The video was only 20 minutes long. I tripled the runtime. I nearly tripled the runtime. That's too much. But anyway, thank you so much. Please spread the word, and you don't have to spread the word of the reacts. I mean, I'd appreciate it. I want as much help as I can get for this channel, but most importantly, spread the word about Karl Jobst, about his video specifically. It doesn't have to be my react to him. You could just spread the word about his video if you want. You know, because people have short attention spans. They can't watch for 50 minutes. Plus, you know, people have to go to work, all that kind of stuff. I should be working now. I'm so glad I work for DoorDash and work my own hours, but I should be working. I still got to put in the hours, or else I'm not making anything. The monetization I make from YouTube is not enough. I make more in 1 hour of working for DoorDash than I make from 1 month of working of YouTube monetization. By a lot, too. I like double, like in 1 hour, I double how much I make with DoorDash compared to how much, I make double with DoorDash in 1 hour compared to 1 month of monetization from YouTube. My channel's big enough to be monetized, but too small to make much doing it. Hopefully that will change if, fingers crossed, my wife and I get to move into our new place that we are looking into. I hope we get it. I'll be so sad if we don't. But I hope we get it. Fingers crossed. We got to get this place because it'll change our lives. It really will. We'll have our own place, have our own home-cooked meals. We won't have to deal with loud-ass roommates, loud-ass dog, loud-ass grandchild that has never been taught right and wrong. It does whatever he wants and bangs on the walls all day. And we'll have our own home-cooked meals, and I'll be able to actually record videos at home for once. That'll be amazing. Anyways, thank you so much. Have a good one, and good luck to Karl Jobst. I hope everything's going all right with him. The lawsuit, my goodness. Fuck you, Billy Mitchell. You are a horrible human being. And anybody who, by the way, anybody who's going to comment my video defending Billy Mitchell, don't even bother. Don't. You've been brainwashed by him into thinking that he's telling the truth. He's not. Billy Mitchell is a charismatic man who can very well convince people that he's not cheating. He's not a cheater. He convinced people that it's right for him to sue people over defamation when actually what they're saying about him is actually true. It's not defamation if what's being said about you is true, Billy Mitchell, but I guess even though Billy Mitchell knows that it's true, he won't admit to it. He's an awful human being. And I've gotten a few comments from Billy Mitchell defenders. Don't bother. All right? Quit defending him. He's lying. And if you're still in denial that he's lying, then you know what? Fine. Stay in your stupid little sheeple rabbit hole of lies and never believe the truth. Like a typical Trump supporter. And also like a lot of Biden supporters too, actually. They seem to think he's like this amazing guy, but he sucks. And especially people who like Kamala Harris. They never looked into her record. Check out my You Know It's Bullshit video, actually, where I point out how awful the election is. I actually have plans for more You Know It's BS videos, but yeah, I know Cinemassacre's making them again, but they don't make them that much. I have other ones I'm considering making that I don't think they've even thought about. So, but that'll come in due time. Priority is moving and working. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. This video went on too long. I know. Don't say it. This is too long. Have a good one.